lost to a really good team. Nobody quit. Nobody threw the towel in. They're a heck of a team. You know, they're the Stanley Cup champions back-to-back for a reason.
What's the difference in the series?
I mean, obviously their forecheck was great. They tilted the rink. They were able to kind of stay on top of us all over the place. Never really able to generate any momentum up the ice. You know, we kept trying the same thing over and over again, just banging our heads against the wall. So credit to them. They played well.
You guys played a pretty good first period. 2 mistakes ends up in the back of the net. I guess is that the way you kind of play mistake for your hockey against?
Yeah, we kept on saying we want to try to win a 2-1 game. Never found a way to do that, obviously. They got great players. You know, how many guys had 20-plus points in their postseason? You know, they're as deep as it comes. Yeah, 2 mistakes. You know, yeah, you're right. I thought we played a pretty good period. 2 mistakes and chasing again.
Connor, you came into the playoffs with a lot of confidence and belief in this group. What's the takeaway here with the group and how far you did?
Still a lot of confidence and belief. You know, I don't think people thought we were going to make it this far. You know, we obviously believed. Came up just a bit short again.
Every group is different. What do you remember about this group?
We became together at the right time, I would say. You know, a lot of difficult circumstances coming down the stretch and injuries and guys fighting through things and guys just coming. You know, we just found a way to get here. You know, obviously didn't find a way to get enough, but credit to a lot of guys.
You look at the core of this team. You feel you got to get a few more kicks of this can here. The way that the core of the guys you have on this team.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, sure.
The game you had was strong enough to go through the West pretty well, right? You beat good teams out there and you beat them in 5 games. When it comes up against Florida and you couldn't solve Florida, you know, what should we think about a Florida team that's that much better than the opponents you face get?
Yeah, they're a really good team. I said it many times already. Very deserving. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. They were really good. No? Yeah? You don't think?
Have you seen anything specific to your teammates after the game?
Nothing to say. Nothing to say, really. You know, obviously everyone's disappointed.
In my opinion, I think it was just consistency. I think that was honestly it. They played a consistent game. They didn't change once through the whole series. I felt like our game was up and down a little bit here and there. And, I mean, that's how they play. They play that game all year, and it goes into playoffs, and they stick to it. They do the exact same thing every night. In our game, we weren't as consistent as they were.
Is there a sense that consistency kind of wore you guys down as the series went on?
Yeah, I think so, especially if bounces go a certain way. Like if you look at Game 2, second overtime, they score a goal. The next game, they're doing the exact same thing. You know, they're not changing. And I think that's kind of when things shifted a little bit. I thought we kind of got away from the script, and momentum's a pretty big part in playoffs.
Are there lessons to be learned in that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure there's lessons. There's lessons as individuals, how you can show up better, how you can react better to certain situations. Also as a team, how we need to learn from this right away. We need to learn from this right now. Letting it happen 2 times in a row, is devastating. Sorry, could you start over?
Was one of the first one to give you a big hug at the end of the game. Was there any change of word between you and Curry? How do you feel for him?
Yeah, he brought tears to my eyes, what he was saying, and I'm going to keep that for my heart.
What did you see on the third goal?
Yeah, I mean, it was a nothing shot. I tried to squeeze it in my arm, popped out. He shot it at the blocker side, which is smart, but I put it in a spot that I thought was going to be okay. Obviously wasn't for a second, and then he just shot it on the backside, and then Reinhardt's in a good spot. So goes from a nothing shot, but I mean that's what you got to do. That's how goals go in, especially in the playoffs. You know, guys are just around the net, and I think for Florida, they did a great job at eliminating that.
This is a roller coaster season, a roller coaster playoff. What do you remember about this group?
I mean, about this group, a little bit of the same story as last year, just you can never count us out. I think with our group, it was even more so if once we got rolling, I think we were unbeatable. I think that's kind of the story for our team.
Was the belief the same after the first period that it was the previous game?
Yeah, for sure. We had some really good motivation to get going. I think, that third goal a little bit later in the second period, I think that's kind of what killed us a bit, but we still had belief going into the third. Like, believe me, they scored the fourth, and we were at the bench, and we were like, hey, like, you're coming back out, you're coming back in the bench, like, we're going to do this. So I don't think for a moment we lost belief until obviously there's 5 minutes left of the game. It's 6-0 or whatever it was.
Well, Stu, you beat two really good teams in Vegas and Dallas, steamrolled. Is Florida just that much better, or did your team just not play?
I think Florida just played a consistent game. That's honestly the end of the story. Like, they played the same way every single night. Nothing changed for them, win or lose. Bobrovsky lets in 6 or 5. He's doing the same thing the next day. Their team isn't changing anything, and they just kept coming. And I thought we did that for the first 2 games, and then we sort of just changed, and from there we were kind of having some peaks and valleys, and they were just good old Florida Panthers.
Last year it feels like the tank was empty.
Sorry, I'll take yours.
Do you try and learn from that yourself as a goalie? Because Bob was in your shoes at one point. Do you kind of look at that and say, that's the trajectory I want to be on?
I sure hope so. I mean, it's my 3rd year in the league. He's 36, obviously, been playing for 14 years. You can tell because he is... Nothing changes for him. You can tell mentally that he's in the same spot, whether he lets in 6 or he gets a shutout. I couldn't tell a difference from game 1 to the last 2 minutes when he knew that he won the Stanley Cup. He didn't change for 1 second. I would love to get in touch with him and ask him how I could fill his shoes and how I could, do that. Definitely hoping that that's my trajectory, but that's going to have to come from me, my hard work.
Did you feel like you changed in the series, back and forth?
My opinion, I think I showed up the same way. I thought results changed, as they always do. But I think for myself personally, I stayed pretty consistent. I was in my bubble. I was doing my own thing. It's weird being a goalie sometimes in a team sport because sometimes you feel like you're an individual in a team game.
Stu, your team led for 33 minutes in the series. The other guys led for 250 or something. Mentally, was it just difficult to just always be looking at the scoreboard and seeing that you weren't ahead?
Absolutely. For myself as well, after every first period, I let in 2 goals. And that's hard to take, especially when you got to play them 6 times. In my case, less, but yeah, when you play them consistently and they're just always ahead, I mean, it's a killer. You're always working to get ahead of them. You're always opening up so that they're going to get more chances because you got to go for it. So yeah, as a way to just give them a harder time is for sure getting the lead earlier, and keeping it is the big thing.
So many things have to go your way. In our first 3 series, things went our way. We got timely goals at certain times. Maybe a power play call or put us on the power play, whatever it is, or a timely save. I don't think any time during the series we were able to do that. And you look at even tonight, I thought we had a good start. We make a mistake, and now we're down 1-0. We had chances to score early. We didn't. Like the goal that we got at the end of the game obviously didn't mean anything, but certainly we felt like an opportunity to get a break like that earlier, and we never got those breaks. So, and it's tough. You got to play to get those breaks, but I just felt that a lot of times we just couldn't get that puck in the net.
Chris, Connor said earlier in the series that you didn't feel you'd played your best game, but it was coming. Leon said, I think it was today, that didn't feel like your best game had been there. Why do you think your team wasn't able to hit the high level that you're accustomed to, and how much of that had to do with Florida?
Yeah, credit to Florida. They're a fantastic team. They've got a lot of good players, and you look at how the roster is made up, and and anytime we did get through it, their goalie played extremely well. We had our chances, but we couldn't break, especially early in games. The scoring was very lopsided in the first period, and it was again tonight. But I didn't feel that the chances were skewed that heavily. I thought we had good starts and just couldn't get the puck through him. And if we get those through as the goalie, then it's probably a different type of game. But they got a great team, and like I said, anytime we were able to get some scoring chances, their goalie played extremely well throughout the whole series.
Left side, front row.
Chris, you guys led this series for like 33 minutes. The other guys for 250. Does it continually for 2 weeks looking up at a scoreboard that has you behind? How's that work psychologically on a team?
I don't know. It's each game, we're not taking notes about how much we're trailing, how much we're ahead, because after each game, it just comes down to winning and losing, and it makes it really hard when you don't have a lead to overcome a really good team and a really good team with a good goaltender. So, just fortunately or unfortunately, we just couldn't score those early goals.
Right side, front row.
Chris, does this one feel a little different just because of the unconventional road you guys got here to get here? So many injuries at the end of the season. A lot of people didn't expect you to get past Los Angeles, and then just to get here and come up against a good team like that.
No, there's no silver lining to this. It's still heart-wrenching. It's very difficult to handle right now. No, it's just because we were maybe the underdogs going to the LA series, underdogs against Vegas, Dallas series. It hurts right now, and I don't think it's going to let up for a while.
Right side, second row.
Chris, you win the first game of the series and you have it tied through 4. You're right in the thick of it. But given the way this ended, does it feel further away than maybe it did last year?
Well, yeah, it feels farther away. We went to Game 7 last year. I certainly felt things could have been a lot differently. We were probably overall healthier last year as a whole, but we had everyone in the lineup. This year, obviously, missing Hyman was a big hole for us. But, I think it was... Obviously, last year we were a lot closer because we went to Game 7, and that Game 7 was so close. So, yeah.
Stay in that same row.
Chris, for Stuart, it was kind of a roller coaster ride throughout the whole playoffs, not just the final, but also the final. But I'm just curious, what you saw from him as he kept coming back and trying to give you guys the game that you needed.
Yeah, no, credit to him. Credit to all the players. I thought they're very passionate, and they're very their hearts were in it, and they want the team to have as much success as possible. And Stu was among them, and there's nothing that I thought he gave us solid goaltending, and when he didn't, picks came in and made up for that, and so we didn't lose this on Stu not playing on his game at all.
Right side, front row.
Chris, can you talk about sort of your search to try and find combinations that would click for you? You know, some guys in and out of the lineup. But you also made a switch really early in this game to go to McDavid and Draisaitl. Did you kind of have that planned, or can you just take us through sort of the mechanics of that decision early?
Yeah. Well, through those games, I think we, like I said, I think we started off well. Midway through the first period, making mistakes and then kind of falling back behind. So same thing tonight. I thought we were off to a great start and it looked like, why would I change it? But you know, those games three through five were very similar to that, and they started to take over in the second half of that period. And you know, right when we made that switch of putting those two on that line together, which was the plan, you know, we get scored against. And then once we were chasing it, we were almost fully committed to, because we're chasing the game, having those two together. So, yeah, so yes, it was the plan.
Same row, other end.
Chris, you talked about the roller coaster in the playoffs, the injuries at the end of the season, the team facing a lot of adversity. What will you remember about this group of players?
Sorry?
What will you remember about this team, this group of players?
Oh, the guys that fought really hard. You know, even, you know, talked earlier about being a resilient group. Like, we saw it more last year just because our backs were against the wall more often. But going this year, you know, it was alluded earlier that we were an underdog throughout the playoffs. And for us to get to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final, being a bunch of underdogs, it's a pretty good accomplishment. Unfortunately, it hurts just because we felt that we could have won it all. And, you know, getting so close last year and getting so close this year, you know, a lot had fallen into place, and it did very early in the playoffs. So I'm very, very happy about the guys. They gave a tremendous effort.